Dylan! You son of a bitch.
That's right. Don't worry. Your YouTube player is not glitched out or anything. I know you're probably seeing that empty red bar down there and then the red bar for my video, and it's like, wait, what the fuck is going on? It's making you trip out, right? But no, it's just it's because I pulled up the YouTube video that we're gonna watch. Because, well, hi everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Leon Starcrest, and this is Phantasy Star Online Episode 3, Card Revolution. We're going to kick it off by watching the opening, and we're watching the entire story playthrough of this game on YouTube. We're watching this is a Let's Watch stream / YouTube video series. I've done plenty of these before on my channel before. So if you've been following for a long time, this should be nothing new. But yeah, I refuse to play this game, even if I could, like if I had actually like acquired the game legitimately, of course, and then play it, which is possible. I choose not to, just because it's not my type of game. So it's a direct sequel to episode 1 and 2, which we've been playing the hell out of for the past 49 days, or, well, you know, I take days off or whatever, but, you know, 49 episodes we made of Blueburst, essentially. Episode 1, 2, and 4. Episode 4 takes place around the same time as episode 1 and 2. It's a direct sequel to those. It's called that because it came out after, with Blueburst, which was after this game that we're going to watch. But this game came out shortly after the original episode 1 and 2 for Phantasy Star Online and released on GameCube and Xbox. This game was exclusively for GameCube, and it is a complete departure of the gameplay style of Phantasy Star episode 1 and 2, as you'll soon find out. It is a tactical turn-based card game, essentially, and I'll let the game introduce itself beyond, like, that's all I'm going to say for now. I'll let the game introduce itself from that, just with that little bit of context right there. But I just wanted to say that's the main reason I didn't play it, because I'm not into card games, and I'm not into, like, the whole Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy Tactics, tactical style, like, RPGs. That's just not my thing. I gave them a legitimate try when there wasn't many games to play as a kid, and my brother really got into tactics, FF Tactics, and I just couldn't. I just did not like it. I just don't. It's just too slow for me, and it's just, yeah, I always needed more stimulation than that. Like, it just wasn't, it was too slow paced for me, for my liking. Anyway, so yeah, in general, that's why this game wasn't for me either. Card games, as a totally separate thing, this combined the two, but as a totally separate thing, card games also never just got my interest either. I always found them boring, and just, if I was absolutely bored out of my mind and had nothing else to do, then I would play, and I would like play with my brother if he really wanted to, because he usually would try to push me into it. Otherwise, again, had no interest, don't care. Like Yu-Gi-Oh and all that, I like some of the anime episodes and all that, but yeah, I just don't like card games. I don't like tactical-based RPGs like Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem, and I don't like card games, and this game is essentially fusing both of those genres together, so obviously I want nothing. I want nothing to do with it, but my brother and cousin love this game. And they played the hell out of it, and I watched them play quite a bit back, you know, 20 plus, yeah, about 20 years ago. Just over 20 plus years ago, I watched them play it sometimes when we weren't playing episode 1 and 2. I always preferred to just be playing Phantasy Star Online episode 1 and 2, of course. And hated that this turned out to be the game that it did, but it is what it is. Alright. So that's my personal reasons for why I still refuse to play it and why we're going to watch it instead. So let's watch it. This is the intro. Phantasy Star Online episode 3. We played the prequel downloadable quest on episode 2 for this last stream. So it set up the story. It was a prologue. Welcome to the next level of Phantasy Star Online. Alright. There's Break, a recognizable face, some new faces. We saw Break as a 10-year-old kid in the prologue that we did yesterday. They introduced a shit ton of new characters. Oh, I want to read what that said. Now let me see that. Of the darkness, a boundless expanse. Join us, and you shall attain fortitude. Alright. We got hunters. We got weapons. The Dark Flow Sword. 4-player card battle. Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing online. We still didn't have internet when this game came out, so we still never got to see that at all, ever. I only ever got to see my brother and my cousin team up against 2 AI NPCs at best, which I thought that was pretty cool that you could do that. No other game offered that I could know, that I could tell. You know. But not 2 other players. Obviously, we didn't have online. So hunters use weapons, and arcs, whatever that is, uses monsters / enemies from the previous games. Online battles. Obviously. Revolution, evolution, I saw that. Hunters are the hero side. This intro explains everything. Arcs is the dark side. Oh, we'll get more into that later, but they pulled a Sonic Adventure 2 thing for this. If you're familiar with how that game works, this game's very similar. Nothing will last forever. No need to stay here. Free you from an endless spell. You should leave now, find your well. Let the 4 winds blow again. You make your story. That's probably hinting at what I was just saying, yeah. There's a hero side and a dark side to this game, just like there is in Sonic Adventure 2. And if you want like the true ending / final boss is like in that game, you have to beat both. So, just to introduce it properly, the YouTube videos anyway, that intro was just by some random YouTuber that uploaded it, because I didn't see if the intro was going to be played. We might see it again, but I didn't see in the preview that it was going to be played again in this. The actual video for the game, for the entire story that we're going to watch, which is a long play of Phantasy Star Online Episode 3 Card Revolution. This is the first half, which is the hero side story, and this is by Long Play Archive, our good friends whom we've seen other games playthroughs of before. We've watched some from Let's Play, what is it, Long Play Archive, which is this one, then there's another one called, I think, Let's Play Archive, or no, it's not. No, World of Long Plays, that's what it is. There's a channel I've watched called World of Long Plays. We saw quite a few for those through that channel, but another one I found is Long Play Archive. They have this. So both the hero side and the dark side are both from Long Play Archive, so I'm just giving credit where it's due. Wait, what does it say? Phantasy Star Online Episode 3, Compressed Alternate Reality Data Revolution. That's what C.A.R.D stands for? I wonder how long it took for them to come up with that. Especially because, like, does it still have the same acronym in Japan? Compressed Alternate Reality Data Revolution. That's only, where's the D? That's car. Oh no, data's D. Okay, so my mind just kind of saw data as just being a insignificant, inconsequential word. Kind of like when sometimes when you have acronyms, you'll have the main words separated by the or and usually those words are not factored into the acronym. My brain for some reason put data as one of those words, like the or and. So it's like, where's the D? It's like, it's data, you idiot. Like,
you suck.
Anyway, so C.A.R.D Revolution. End user license agreement. Use of the program as defined below is subject to the software license terms set forth below. You got this for episode 1 and 2 on the GameCube days as well. As well as an appropriate subscriber agreement and terms of service. Yeah, there was a similar screen to this in the GameCube version of Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2. We didn't see that because we played the Blueburst version, but you had to agree to it in order to even play the game. Because they created like a hunter's license, they called it. You see it's saying it right here. They created so yeah, you see these exact prompts on that game too. You had to get a hunter's license, save that onto your memory card, that would authorize you to log in. This is probably how they banned people who broke the rules, basically. That would authorize you to log into their servers since it was an MMO. So like if they banned you, they probably put some kind of mark or something on their systems for the hunter's license data on your memory card, so they could identify who you are and keep you banned or something. I'm guessing that's probably how that worked. But yeah, episode 1 and 2 did this as well. It says please set the date and time correctly, if the month, whatever. If it doesn't match, you won't get a hunter's license. Yeah, it was their way of trying to regulate back when characters were saved on memory cards instead of on the actual servers. Pretty sure that's why games like this and every MMO made after this all switched to that model where the character is now just saved on their servers, and you have to access their servers to even be able to get to your character. You can no longer just play them offline, you know? It made it easier to regulate players' activity. Like, that's definitely why it's still like that today. But, you know, back then, internet was still very much I'm not gonna say a novelty, but it was still primitive enough that they hadn't really thought that was feasible yet, I think, or they probably even couldn't do it yet on a technical level. I'm sure they probably could have, though. PC MMOs had been around for a while before Phantasy Star Online came out, so it's probably just like they were still learning how consoles worked in terms of MMOs, you know, and we're probably just like, let's just do it like this for now. And then they, you know, later on they probably realized, all right, we can make it so it's, you know, well, I think just when they switched to PC for Blueburst, that they made it easier to just be able to put the character data on the server instead of having the player save it locally on a memory card for their console. So this is the title screen that's about to play right now, not the intro we just saw. This is different. It just says right there, press start. Seekers of light. Believe not in forever. This game's very poetic so far. Believe not in truth. Also, it's kind of quiet. I might have to... Shit, it's all the way up. I might have to raise my speaker volume. So I'm probably not going to be able to use the soundboard much, but some people might be like, thank God for that. I'm going to be sad, but whatever. Okay, so what did the last thing say? Believe not in truth. I'm going to turn it up a little. For they are empty and inconstant, as are all things. And there's a title screen. Licensed by Nintendo and Sonic Team. This was exclusive for the GameCube only. Phantasy Star Online Episode 3 Card Revolution. Offline game, story mode. Entering what? Did that say world stream? Yeah. Welcome to the next level. My god, this music is giving me nostalgia right now. It just, I'm having flashbacks of watching my brother and cousin play this game years ago. Well, 2 decades ago. Want to create a new character? Yes, and it immediately plays the story intro just like it did in episode 1 and 2 when you did that. So here we go, the setup for the story. It says Pioneer 2, 21 years later. I'm gonna raise up the headphone warning. I'm raising up the system volume so that you guys can actually hear it properly. I won't use my soundboard, or I'll try to remember not to. We got drones, AI drones. So those were already a thing 21 years before, but we just didn't see them. "21 years later," so this is after 21 years after the prologue we played was 10 years after the events of episode 1 and 2. So this is another 11 years after that. That means if our Break and Orland were about 10 years old then, now they are, well, 21. They're 11 years older. Phantasy Star Online Episode 3. Oh shit, did they reuse the same intro music as episode 1 and 2's intro? Maybe because they're recapping episode 1 and 2. Because we see Pioneer 2 here, orbiting the planet Regal. I assume is a recap, yeah. Because I was like, no way they're still orbiting Regal, right? 21 years later. Okay, so it says, humans began to settle among the stars. Around the time the meteor from Regal's star system dived down to planet Coral, the human population was expanding too rapidly, beyond the point which Coral herself could no longer bear. I'm turning it down just so I can narrate this. To search for a new home and to seek the source of the mysterious energy found on the meteor, dubbed Photon, a Pioneer-class spaceship was built as humanity planned for a great migration. The Pioneer embarked on her journey, in the same direction that the meteor came from for some reason, but Time quickly flows by. Newborns grow into children, children into adults. Likewise, truth becomes rumor, and rumor fades into faint memories. AUW 3105. Nearly 21 years have passed. Okay, so if you remember 3105, I think that's about 5 to 10 years after... Yeah. We saw some... AUW is obviously how they denote their year. And after we finished the prologue, it gave us some... Just like this, it actually scrolled some shit where it said AUW 30, 95, 99, like leading up to this, obviously. And it was giving us events without much context. So you can go back and read those at the end of last stream. But this one says AUW 3105, nearly 21 years have passed since the strange and enormous explosion on the surface of Regal rocked Pioneer 2 and killed off all of Pioneer 1. And so she remains in space, with her primary goal of human migration unfulfilled. Oh, so they are still orbiting space. Jesus. Even after Dark Falls was defeated, for some reason they just decided not to land. Okay. The people aboard Pioneer 2 long to touch Regal's precious soil, yet they have grown accustomed to life amongst the stars. However, unbeknownst to the people, the plans for Regal's urbanization is encountering fierce resistance due to the secretive ways of the principal government. Principal Tyrell? Or whoever his successor if he stepped down already. The first principal, Tyrell, has been dismissed, and Pioneer 2 yet remains drifting in orbit around Regal. The people cling to their hopes of a better tomorrow. I never mentioned this before, but some of the scenes we just saw right there. Oh! Anyway, 10 nuts busted there. Some of the scenes we saw in the background there, as well as some of the pictures that played in the credits for episode 1 and 2, which we saw twice. I never said anything at the time, but some of those scenes are showing the ultimate mode version of some of the monsters. Like the dragon turns into an ice dragon. That was what they showed in that last frame there. I forgot to demonstrate that. I forgot I was going to do that on my last stream to just show a little bit of ultimate mode so you guys could see that stuff. I completely forgot. But, I mean, you'll still have a chance because I will be uploading to YouTube the grind to level 200 on that game. I'm still going to continue that, so... You'll still get to see some ultimate mode stuff. So here you make your character. So I thought maybe there was an option to transfer your character from episode 1 and 2, because it's the same exact... It's all the same exact character and job class types. Like, and the customization options, as far as I know, are exactly the same as well. But maybe not. Maybe you do have to make a whole new character, I guess. Because I didn't see an option for that, so... Interesting. I guess they probably thought it was pointless because it would just be an aesthetic thing to transfer your character, because the stats wouldn't matter because it's a completely different kind of gameplay. Again, you'll see as we get into it. Basically, select the character you are going to use in episode 3. You will chat and move in the lobby and morgue using this character. What the fuck? There's a morgue? The hell? I don't remember that. But see, it's letting you know right now, you're not actually going to play the game as this character. This character is just for you to represent yourself when you chat and move in the lobby and chat with other players, basically. But that's it. The actual gameplay, they're already telling you, there's a big hint with what they're saying right here. The actual gameplay does not involve the character you choose at all. This is literally just your online avatar to represent you. And offline you use this character as well, but like to progress through the story, but again, not for gameplay purposes. It's just to talk to the NPCs and launch missions to progress the story. But the actual action and combat is not done with the character you're making here. Not anymore. LPA, Long Play Archives, I like that. They named themselves after the YouTube channel. Sweet. Type, Humar, character name LPA, section ID Grinnell. I don't know how section IDs affect this game, but I'm sure it's its own whole mechanic thing as well, just like in episode 1 and 2. And probably determined by your name as well. Probably determines the cards you get from like opening card packs or however the fuck you acquired cards in this game, I can't remember. Story select. So with one character that you made, you can now just choose to switch between the two stories. The Hunter's story, the Hunter's hero side story, and the Ark's dark side story. You can switch between the two. every time you load up the game. You don't have to finish one story before you're allowed to do the other one. You can switch between. Totally fine. And the deck will be different for each game, for either one, because of the mechanics of the game. Like it showed in the intro, it implied it, and I kind of explained it. Hunters, the hero side, use a very different set of cards compared to the dark side. And when you go online, you can choose which of the two, or whatever amount of decks you've made in each story, you can choose between those depending on the playstyle you want to engage in online. Again, I know this just from watching my brother and cousin play back then. Which story would you like to pursue? Well, we're going to Hunter's hero side first. Oh shit, hold on, there's like a ticker saying some shit. This specialized investigation team follows the direct orders of the Pioneer 2 principal government. And Tyrell got fired, of course. He was dismissed. So it's gonna be someone new. Using the new C.A.R.D technology, this team solves various types of dangerous cases. We got Detective Conan shit going on. So I like that I already like this player paying attention to detail like that. They actually allowed you to read that before they actually started, like, hit start on it. They didn't just like mash through. Because it's a variety of different gamers and players who upload. They like get permission to do it first, to submit something for Long Play Archive, and the same goes for World of Long Plays. They have a similar system where they just like, you can apply to run a game, and then they're just like, all right, well, here's how we want you to do it. You know, please try to show the whole story. It's meant to be a long play, not a speed run. Even then, some long plays I've seen, the player will accidentally just like mash through text and stuff, and it's like, dude, you're supposed to be going slow, you know? Some people can't resist themselves. But so I like that this player already had the courtesy to let you read that, basically. So they are paying attention to detail. They are taking it slow like they're supposed to. Good stuff. The whole point of a long play. It's supposed to be the opposite of a speed run. I think these loading screens you could fuck around with too, just like in episode 1 and 2. And who's this asshole? The new principal? I'm gonna raise this back up now. He says, oh, so you're LPA? You look kind of down. Hold on, I didn't put starting time. You sure you're alright? I'm Pentaglass. That's a hell of a name. The most distinguished chief around these parts. My orders are like law around here. Okay, see, now he's starting to mash too fast. Your job, then, is to follow my orders. They probably figure you're going to be pausing the video like me, though. And promptly carry out your missions with your team. First off, I want you to take a look around the morgue. Look at the people who died. And meet up with your 3 team members. Why the hell are we meeting in a morgue? If you need anything, my assistant Karen can provide more details. Karen? Watch it be the same Karen from episode 4. I wouldn't put it past Sonic Team to, you know, combine them. Or to have connections since episode 4 came after, you know? It could be the same Karen, but she'll probably look different because this is 21 years later. No, it's just an NPC named Karen. Just some random one-off NPC. He says, good afternoon, my name is Karen. I'm the chief's assistant. You must be LPA, our new commander. So is this the new lab chief that replaced Natasha too, or what? The Pentaglass guy over there? Because it didn't say he was the new principal, it was the new chief, so... Natasha was a chief, so I'm just, you know, I don't know. Karen says, nice to meet you. Let me give you some simple instructions for your first mission. LPA, you are now officially accepting the principal government's job request. You have the following team members at your disposal. Franz, Silfer, and Enolis? Or Enolis, I guess? This gives you a total of 3 teammates. From the morgue here, you will choose your team members and deploy them to the surface of Regal. Okay, the volume looks good there. Your team members vary widely in their knowledge and skills of C.A.R.D technology, which I will now just call C.A.R.D technology from now on, for simplicity's sake. It is your duty as a commander to assign each individual member an appropriate C.A.R.D deck, and then guide them skillfully on the battlefield. See, you're just playing the role of a commander, so you're never on the battlefield yourself. That's why they were just saying that the character you just made is literally just to represent yourself in lobbies and chat rooms, and that's it. You're not actually on the battlefield as this character, so. He says, you'll always receive your orders here in the director's room. So make sure to report back whenever you complete a mission. I look forward to working with you. Yeah, this game is definitely super experimental for this franchise. As far as I know, the Phantasy Star franchise had never had a card turn-based tactical game before. So the first 4 RPGs were turn-based, but not card games. And they weren't tactical like FF Tactics, you know, where you have like a big field. You'll see what I mean. Cran says, wow, look who showed up.
Dylan!
You're the new commander, right? Another guy and I were just talking about you.
Bitch.
I was wondering just what kind of person you really were. I'm Kranz. Nice to meet you. Looks like Bernie's successor. Windswept hair. Looks a lot, you know, cooler. I like his colors for his outfit too. Says we'll be needing you out there, that's for sure. Your skill could help decide the battle. Yeah, says this card lab is guarded by my security team 24 hours a day. There's nothing to worry about. That doesn't sound like ominous foreshadowing. This guy says the Arcs have increased their activity lately. Who are the Arcs? Well, I didn't even see what else you said. He says, well, they're an armed group trying to thwart the plans of the principal government. So we got rebels and insurrection going on now. He says everyone knows their basic spiel. Resist the tyranny of the principal government. So it's probably a group of people who lost faith in the government after the disaster that was, you know, Tyrell's management of things in episode 1 and 2. Yeah. Halt the government's rampant overdevelopment of Rhaegal. Or they're just a bunch of anarchists who, you know, freedom, Keikona. Yeah. Who knows? But the government's trying its best to unify Pioneer 2 right now. It's very slanderous of them to say such words. Funny how we were unified when we first got here to Rhaegal. 20 years later. Massive civil unrest and dissent. The GameCube graphics are jarring after playing the PC version of Blue Burst. What did it say? Will you edit the deck? Oh, this is where you edit your deck. Hello, will you edit the deck to use in battle? Yes. But then it says, if you get new cards, please put them in your deck to try out their abilities. You don't have a deck yet, so... I was about to say a dark. A dark, huh? Oh my god. Well, this is an inconsequential NPC, so I can see why he's mashing through it, but still. This is a command center. You can adjust your decks here before the battle. Having the right deck will help you use your cards effectively. You don't say. It's part of why I don't have the patience for card games, is you have to spend time deck building and... Well, you have to first learn the ins and outs of the game to really make an effective build. And you also have to practice building a deck and testing it out to see what works and what doesn't, to actually master the mechanics of the game, which then allows you to build a better deck. The whole thing is a very long learning process. And I just prefer Unga Bunga Mash A to kill things, you know, like Phantasy Star Episode 1 and 2. I'm a simple person. I just want to hit the buttons and kill things. It's just, yeah, I can't be bothered. So she says, whoever this is, says, oh, I'm so busy. How did all this work pile up on me like this? I think my mentality back then, and even now, to this day, is if I'm gonna put as much time and effort into learning a complex, like, card game or card battle system type of game like this, I'd rather just put that time and energy into learning something more productive, like mathematics or physics in real life, which I did. Like, not only did I actually think that, I followed through with it, because those are the topics I majored in college. So, yeah, I actually stuck to that. And to this day, I still feel the same way. I cannot be bothered to learn a game like this. I'd rather just go, like, learn computer science or something else. if I'm gonna put that much mental energy into it. It's just, you know, to each their own. I'm not trying to diss anybody who's into this kind of game or into this game in particular either. I'm just explaining my mentality that I had back then and that I kind of retained and still have now. Like, it's just not my kind of game, you know? Just everybody has different tastes, so that's all it is. It's just not my cup of tea, and that was my mentality, and I stuck to it. I actually went to go major in math and science and physics. Computer science, not so much. That was too difficult for me. I was like, oh hell no, this is too abstract and difficult, especially programming. I did not have the patience for that. But physics and math, yeah, calculus, I got into that, at least. All right, so it says, which player's deck do you want to edit? Select the player. OPA, obviously. Yeah, here you have access to your 2 decks. The one for the hero side and the one for the dark side. You can edit... Well, I think depending on the story you choose, you can only edit that one, maybe? I don't know. Default hero. Default dark. You cannot edit while in the hero side scenario mode. Well, that answers that question. You have to switch story modes. You want to create a new deck. So that's to make a custom deck, because these are just the default starter decks. What did she say? Hold on. I always have a customized deck ready to be used in battle. This person says, this is a card trading machine. You can trade cards using both of the terminals. Of course, you'll need... Didn't pause it fast enough. You'll need another person around to trade with. There's no point in trading with yourself now, is there? I just traded with myself. I did literally nothing. I just did a weird motion with my hands. Yeah, I get it.
Bruh.
I was checking the volume. The counter here handles the lab office work and other urgent matters too. Wait, what? Lab office work? Oh, I think that might be for... Well, that might be where you launch your main missions from, but I think there's also side quest missions, just like there was in episode 1 and 2. That might be for that. No quests currently available. This is where you launch depending on what you've chosen to do. Where you launch missions. You notice the teleporter's up above you now instead of on the ground. Since you're not actually going anywhere, you're just sending your troops into battle. This guy says, hey, you're the new commander, right? I've been hearing the rumors. You're pretty good, I hear. They definitely took the concept off of Fire Emblem, because my brother got into that, of course, a lot as well. He loves tactical games like that. From what I saw in Fire Emblem, your character that you play as technically is also... Well, you don't make an avatar like this. Well, it wasn't necessary since it's just a single player game. At least the early games were. Your character is just like basically you. Like the characters will talk. It's in first person, like old school RPGs. Like some old school RPGs are. It's in first person mode, and so the characters will talk directly towards the screen, towards you, the player. And your character is basically just you, and you get to come up with a name or whatever. But like your character plays the role of a tactician or a commander that just gives out orders to the actual main characters of the story that are actually out on the battlefield fighting. And so this is pretty much that same concept from Fire Emblem. Is your character, which you do get to make an avatar for, but either way it's inconsequential, is like their commander, and you tell them what to do on the battlefield basically. So whenever you take a turn and all that, you're basically giving orders to the person that's on the field fighting. Just like Fire Emblem. This guy says, I've been hearing the rumors. You're pretty good, I hear. You're pretty good for a beginner, eh? So listen up. Are those government missions really enough to satisfy you? If you're really that good, then don't you want to try some other jobs? I'm not forcing you or anything, but if you're interested, let me know. So he offers side quests, okay. Yeah, you have something called a card level in this game too. I'm not sure what increasing your card level actually did with regards to the mechanics of the game, like actually getting cards or whatever. Because I didn't play the game much, so I don't know, but... This chick named Silver, apparently, says, oh, you must be the commander, right? My name is Silver. Good meeting you. I can't help but notice how enormous her chest is. They definitely messed with the They definitely used the character creator to increase that proportion on her. Her chest is huge. She says, I just joined the C.A.R.D Lab Hunters Guild a little while ago. Okay, so she's actually new. I only have a little bit of battle experience. Yep, there it is. She's a novice. So I'll try not to be too much of a hindrance. Okay. It's a pleasure to be working with you, LPA. This guy says, would you like to know about C.A.R.D technology? C.A.R.D technology refers to the ability to store data in a thin memory unit the size of a card. This must be the super secret military technology that was being developed at the end of the prologue episode 10 years ago of episode 2 that we did last stream. He says, and it restores that data back into the real world at your will. So they basically condensed weapons and, as we'll later find out, monsters into data that they put into cards that you can then activate to bring the weapons or monsters into life. So you can just hold up a card, activate it, and then it becomes an actual weapon, like the ones we used to use 21 years ago, basically. And you just fight with it. Oh, this is Inolis, our third teammate. She says, huh? Who are you? She stays quiet. She pauses for a moment, then says, do I know you? And then she says, wait, you must be... You're the commander, right? The commander! I'm right, aren't I? My name's Inolis. I'm a force. When it comes to techniques, I'm your girl. Nice to meet you.
You son of a bitch.
So if you need someone that specializes... So we basically have the 3 job classes here. The 3 major classes. A hunter, a ranger, and a force. 1 character for each. So depending on your playstyle, I guess... But as far as I remember, there's some story quests that require you to have to play with using a certain character. Because you only take one of them into battle at a time. Or I think there's some missions where you take 2 characters, because they do have 4-player battles, yeah. So there are some missions where you will take 2, but there are most missions, or maybe it's half and half, well, you just pick 1. And so depending on your playstyle, you know, if you want to use melee weapons, you take the hunter. Who knows how the battle system actually works, but there is a choice to be made. But I think I remember there being some story missions that require you, for the sake of the story, you have to actually, you're forced to pick a certain character. Like you're forced to take Rands or Inolis or Crans, sorry, or Silfer. I hope I'm pronouncing them right, I don't know. What was this guy's name again? Permaglotz, whatever the fuck it was. I can't remember what the fuck his name is. I'll rewind later. Like, Will Smith is gonna have to help me on this one. Oh, there it is.
It's rewind time.
I can't remember his fucking name, dude. Anyway, he says, well, I suppose you're done meeting the team. Let's get right down to business then. Here's your first job, LPA. I've been told by the higher-ups to make sure you're fit for the title of commander, okay? Okay. There's a machine over in the command center that lets you mess around with your deck. So make sure all your team members have the right cards. Well, good luck, okay? The quest Fossil Find 1 has been added. First quest. Our first mission. The sound effects for the footsteps are still very ASMR to me. I always found them very pleasant and liked them back then as a kid. Still like them now. There's just something about them. They're very satisfying to listen to. I don't get that from footstep sounds in literally any other game, even to this day. I always feel like they feel very, like the way they sound is like very formal. Like you're wearing formal shoes of some kind, or maybe even high heels. You know? Her chest is definitely nerfed here. It looks... Her tits are definitely way bigger out there, you know, than in this drawing. They definitely they definitely toned it down here, but out there they were like, let's increase the proportion size a little bit. It's like there's a huge difference there. The Silver, Crayons, and Enolis. And yes, you do unlock... I was trying to remember if you unlocked other characters. I was like, there's no way you just play the game with these 3 characters. No, you do unlock other ones. You see the question marks there? There's definitely more characters. See, they all have their own stats. HP, AP, TP, and MV. MV, I think, is move. So their stat for how many blocks, like tiles, they can move, I think. You want to discard the deck changes in return. So when you make a deck, you have to choose who's going to use it first, and then build the deck around that, because depending on who you choose as the person that's going to use the deck, it determines what cards they can use. They have similar rules to episode 1 and 2, where a hunter obviously cannot equip, like, most wands and staffs and use a bunch of magic like a force, you know? So Silver won't be able to use stuff like that, but she'll specialize in being able to use, well, hunter weapons like blades, knives, sabers, giant swords, yada yada. Yeah, there's some elements from the first game, obviously, from episode 1 and 2. It's the whole point of them having so many characters to choose from. So you can build a lot of different kinds of decks with different kinds of cards. Fran says, yo! This is your first battle, huh? The chief told me to explain how this thing works to you. Alright. Yelling over at us like we're on Crenshaw Boulevard for some reason. He says, I'm gonna show you now, so listen up. Here we go, tutorial. He says, I had to scratch my lip. He says, of course, I don't know much about this machine myself. Don't ask me anything too difficult, okay? I mean, heck, I'm no good at this teaching stuff anyway. You're starting to make me lose confidence. Why the fuck are you the one teaching me anything then? Like, what? Like, dude.
Bruh.
He says, nah, well, you ready then? This is like the blind leading the blind, basically. Dude's like, I'm gonna teach you how this works, but even I don't fucking know how this works because I'm not ranked high enough. Like, I'm not the commander. I'm not authorized to use this or supposed to use it, but I'm gonna teach you how it works, even though I know nothing about it. Like,
What? What the fuck?
Kran says, this thing is an entry counter. It's a device that lets you dispatch your team on missions across Regal. The system's meant for card battles, though. So you can't dispatch your team without making a deck for them first. Certain members might not be available sometimes for some reason. Story reasons. Excuse me. If you want to build a deck, go to the command center. I think it's on the left side down this narrow corridor. You'll probably get your jobs from the chief or some other bigwig. But when orders come along, they'll be registered here. Once they are, all you have to do is go up to this machine and choose who to send as well as where to send them to. Did I miss anything? He pauses. That's probably it. They won't mind if I forget 1 or 2 things. Then he just laughs. Anyway. Brian says, why don't you go try it out now? I couldn't even try to imitate like a proper laugh because that seemed so out of place for a second. I was just like, okay, gahaha. Choose a mission and send a dispatch order to anyone on your team. That's it. Probably. How about deploying me for the first mission, eh? What if I don't want to play a ranger class? He says it's a special occasion after all. Anyway, that's it. Whew, long speeches tire me out. Me too, dude. Tell me about it. And I do it to myself, because nobody asked me to, but I still start rambling and then, yeah. I get it, man. I can relate to that.
Bruh.
I'll definitely have to check the stream afterwards to see if the audio balance is good. And I've said that every time we start a new game or watch like a new YouTube video, because the audio balance is always different. The first video is always going to be a little jank on that respect because I'll either have it too quiet or too loud. It's very rare that I have it just right. You know, to have it balanced with my voice. Quest registration complete. Initiating entry counter. So we have battle preparation menu. It says map/quest, rule settings, deck selection, decide. Rule map, map unselected, rules default. You have to do that first. Okay, so map quest. There's Regal. And yes, we will see places that are recognizable from episode 1 and 2. Kind of nice. I feel like this game was meant to be more so a spin-off than a sequel, but yeah. I guess it works as both, honestly. That's probably why they just decided to call it episode 3. Also find 1. Unguis Lapis. Dispatch the team to this map. See the briefing. Fossil find 1 from government. Mission says the fossil of a giant creature was recently discovered in a newly developed area on Regal. An investigative team was quickly... Well, you have to use the C stick on the GameCube controller to scroll down and read the rest, and I don't think this guy's gonna do it. So the map is Fossil Find 1. The rule says change is made. I guess you have to go to rule settings to confirm that. Deck selection, team selection, A team, player, hero only. B team is an NPC denoted by COM called Lyra. And Eye Lilies, I'm guessing that's their deck name. I don't know. Don't know how to read all this yet. You cannot confirm you have not selected your deck. Character selection, LPA, default hero. Yeah, first player, LPA, default hero deck, controller 1. And B team, which is where you would put like controller 2 if you're playing offline, or one of your friends if you're playing online, and getting ready for like a team battle against 2 other people. That would be B team. Rule details, battle duration, no limit, phase duration, no limit, cards allowed, all, card types, all, minimum roll 3, max roll 6, yes there is a dice mechanic, dice boost activated, deck shuffle activated, deck loop activated, character HP 15, team HP, defeat player, dialogue on, dice exchange, high attack. Oh yeah, they have little dialogue lines that they'll yell out just to spice things up a little during the fight. Kind of like how NPCs you would escort in episode 1 and 2 would just yell stuff out sometimes when they would fight. They'd be like, take this, you know? You see a little chat bubble come up. They do the same thing in this game. Okay, decide. The message we received from the research team is as follows. This is Lagnet of the Unguis Lapis research team. As we were getting underway with our investigation, we were suddenly attacked. Please send help. End quote. We do not have any concrete information regarding the nature of the attackers, so extreme caution is advised. Shit. That was pretty serious. Okay, you can really zone out and meditate on those loading screens. Somebody should make like an infinite loop of those loading screens and turn them into meditation videos on YouTube. The gentle sound effect and the visual, you know. That's a small little grid to play on. They get bigger, don't worry. They're not, it does, you know, the battle arenas are not going to be as small as what you see here all the time. First player is Silver, LPA. Commanded by LPA, the player name. The COM, the second team, is Lyra. Commanded by the COM, the computer, the AI, the NPC. Lyra says, I have an important mission. Please don't get in our way. Every time you go out on a mission, you're pretty much fighting somebody from the other team. So Lyra is a character from the Dark Side team. The Dark Side story. And it's your tactics and strategy against the enemy commanders. With your attack first because you rolled higher. If a player rolled a 6, then the AI, the enemy AI, the NPC rolled a 5. So yeah, the player gets to go first. And it just says versus as its way of saying like fight, you know, like in a fighting game when the match starts or something. It's time to duel, you know, like that. See, there he goes. I like that. It did it right there. Duel. The card's coming out. Would you like to change your hand? One-time option. Oh yeah, you can mulligan your entire hand. I'm only using the word mulligan because I learned it from FF7 Rebirth's fucking card game as well. The hell's it called? Queen's Blood, right. I hate that there's a forced Queen's Blood match. At least one that is forced on you in that fucking game. They're keeping the hand. Opponent's turn.
Stop.
Yeah, you pretty much just have to wait. Also, almost spoiled it there, but there is a narrator slash announcer voice that is also very satisfying to listen to in a weird sort of way. That denotes when there's a phase change for the turns and all that. And here it comes.
Start dice.
Fucking robot. It's ChatGPT's first incarnation. Set. A Durandal. The yellow saber. Obviously, you can only move yourself. The weapon's not going to float away and move on its own. Player who goes first cannot attack, so you're not allowed to attack on the first turn. Again, most arenas later on in the game are not this small, so you wouldn't even be able to unless you were like a ranged class. Either way, they don't let you.
Draw.
You draw a card at the end before it's the next person's turn. There it is. So at the end of your turn, you draw a card. Not at the beginning. Every card game does it different. Yeah, the dark side, they summon monsters rather than equipping weapons with their cards. And then they can move their main character, which is the one he was approaching, or move the monster character. I think they can move both in one turn, but you have to have enough MV stat. That's what the card, I think, has there. To be able to move, like, I don't think you can just move all your pawns on the field, so to say, if you want to look at it like chess.
Defense.
I'm not sure how it works, but... Oh, right, and then when you choose to attack someone, they have a chance to defend themselves using one of their cards. Good shot.
Change dice. Set.
I like how it fucking trolls you. You roll 4 attack and 5 defense, but oh, whoopsie, we're switching that actually. It's 5 defense or 5 attack and 4 defense. Fuck off. Like,
You bastard!
yeah. So what I'm gathering just from watching this, the points there are how many points you have to spend, like an allowance of money. So you can summon cards here. So with 5 attack, you can summon a saber, and that'll decrease your points to 3. So it takes 2. It takes 2 points to summon a saber. I must be the little, like, I should use my mouse. See this? Yeah. This must be what decreases the amount of points here. These numbers, the green numbers, must be like their attack power. Wait, let's see. What did barrier change it to? Yeah, it's definitely this. The little yellow blip here on this little... Which probably denotes how rare the card is, maybe. Most likely how powerful it is, though. Like, how powerful it's considered to be compared to other cards, probably. So almost like how rare it is, in a way. But yeah, so if you have 5, this will cost you 1, this little yellow dot here. So it'll decrease it to 4 attack, remaining to summon more stuff if you want. Yeah, what I was saying earlier about the whole like math, calculus, physics, science sort of stuff that I said, that like I'd rather just learn that basically. It's kind of how I felt about like anything that's like this, like even chess. Like, because becoming a master at chess is like that game takes a lot of skill, you know? Like games like that, they take a lot of learning and stuff, and I just, like I said, I always figured if I'm gonna do that, I'd rather just pour the time and effort that I would spend on that into, like, you know, math and science or something. Again, just my own prerogative. But yeah, so games like these, that's how I see them. I was like, these are complex, and they, you know, can take a long time and a lot of practice to master them, I'd rather do something else. I like games that are a little more simple.
Action.
He's gonna attack with the saber first.
Defense.
Get smacked.
Draw. Change.
This robot voice is intense, man. Draw, change, move. Like he enunciates. He doesn't narrate the NPC
Defense.
actions though. Dodge? Did it work? I don't know what determines if it worked or not, but it worked. You have to have actual cards that are used for defense in your hand to be able to defend, which is what happened there. So here's a difference between the hero and dark side that I remember. The dark side attacking a hero character will have to penetrate their defenses via their weapons first to be able to hit them. So they can't just attack you directly, because since you don't have monsters backing you up, this is how it's balanced. Is that the more weapons you have equipped, denoted by this little ring here, there was a better camera angle for it, but this ring around, these rings around her feet, these little green hollow rings, hologram rings, denote how many weapons she has equipped, the Hunter Silver. Yeah, these right here, this. And the enemy has to attack and break your weapons first before they can actually hit you and take your life points. Your health points, I was going to say, but I was already thinking up the analogy with Yu-Gi-Oh! For those familiar with that, which is why life points slipped out. It was a Freudian slip, because I was going there with that. I was going to say it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you can't attack someone's life points directly unless you take out their cards first. Unless you have special cards that allow you to hit them directly. So I'm sure they have some for this game too, that are like that. See, surprisingly, I remember a lot from this game, but that's just because that's literally how much I saw my brother and cousin play this game. They fucking love this game. They got so into it. They loved episode 1 and 2 a lot too, and we played a lot of that as well, but they also love playing this. Which is where I would drop out. I'm like, I'm gonna go do something else. I'd play a different game somewhere else in a different room. Or I'd sit there and watch them if I was bored enough, but yeah, I just couldn't play this myself.
Set. Move. Action. Defense.
Oh!
You suck!
They got her ass. Then they got 3 experience points, I think? It said EX plus 3. Also, any remaining monsters on the field will just dissipate once you kill the leader controlling them, which was obviously Ruler or whatever her name was. So it says, first player, LPA, congratulations, rank C+. Yeah, your rank is determined by how well you performed in the battle too, which I think, yeah, how much ass you kick, how fast you defeat them, or whatever else determines your rank will determine like how rare of a card you get after the battle. I'm pretty sure you get rewarded cards for winning battles, but we'll see. Yay, we did it! You won! Results. Battle results. Now analyzing the battle results. Please, wait. New cards will be distributed based on something we'll never know because the player skipped it. Let me see the stat screen. So here's the winner, the loser. The stats, the winner got 25 EXP, obviously. And there are 4-player battles in the story as well. Which means you'll be teamed up with an NPC against 2 other enemy NPCs. Oh, you select a card pack. Maybe your rank just gives you EXP, but it doesn't determine the cards you get. Please select a card pack of your choice. But they don't even tell you what the difference is between the 4 of them, even though some of them obviously look different. Like this one's red, and the other 3 are like blue. Oh, they're all different colors, okay. I guess they were just, alright. I don't know if the colors mean anything for what you're gonna get, though. Booster packs! Gotcha! This is old school gotcha. You didn't have to pay real money. You just got to open the card pack every time you beat a fucking mission or whatever. You completed a level. Also, the red card pack must be for monsters, or do you just get both types of cards? Hildy Bear. Oh, you get both types. Okay, so no. I really don't know what the colors are for. They might mean nothing. Yeah, you just get weapons and monsters. Weapons for the hero side, monsters for the dark side. The double saber. An evil shark. He's evil, motherfuckers. I wonder why it does that. I always wondered this as a kid. Why does it show 2 iterations of the weapon? Like this one says double saber, and we got one and then another one with the other half of it cut off on the image. Same with the wand. This like staff wand thing over here. Look, it shows one staff and then another one. They're 2 different staff models for some reason. The rods, sorry. The staff is this one. That's kind of odd. How they decided to depict the image. It doesn't matter, like it doesn't affect the stats or anything. It's just me critiquing like the artwork that they use for it. Kind of odd. It always seemed a little confusing to me. I was like, wait, so it's 2 double sabers, or why are there 2 in the picture? You know, like it would confuse me like that. No, it's just 1 double saber, but it seems that the research team is safe and sound. They have sent word expressing their heartfelt thanks. Thank you for your efforts and good luck on your future assignments. Security Division. We did it!
Son of a bitch.
There we go. Right on time, too. I was planning on this stream being a short one because I gotta go to bed soon, so I was just wanting to do like a 1-hour stream to start the game at least, introduce it properly, watch the beginning. We've seen like the first 18 minutes of it now, including the intro. But yeah, I wanted to do that just because, you know, before going to bed. I'll still read this in a minute, but because I've noticed that whenever we start a new game, whether I'm familiar with it or not, but usually when I am familiar with it, when it's not a first-time playthrough, which this I'm familiar with, I, for better or worse, will talk a lot to introduce the game and its mechanics a little bit, just so that things can be in context. And it takes a lot out of me. So, like, it takes a lot out of me how much I ramble. Just, like, we're only 18 minutes in, but this has been an hour stream. So, I mean, that should give you, yeah, like, I ramble a lot, right? It's because I want to give proper context to the game we're watching or playing for the first time on stream. And so I'll just talk and ramble a lot, and it takes a lot out of me. So I was like, the first stream should probably just be short. Just be 1 hour. That way I can recover from using my voice that much. And then like every stream after that, once the game has been introduced and we're just kind of on our way at that point, I know that my talking will die down a bit more. Like I obviously won't be pausing the video that much to explain what I did during that first battle. It's just because that was the first battle. I wanted to give context and be like, oh yeah, so I think if I remember correctly, this is how the cards work. You know, the turn phases, yada yada. Now we know the basics. So now every battle, I'm pretty much just going to sit back and watch and only comment on like when something interesting happens, but I'm not going to be stopping to explain the rules of the damn game as I remember them every 5 seconds, you know? So I've seen that that's a pattern that happens with every new game that I stream, or every game that I stream for the first time, basically. I'll give a lot of background to introduce it and to give context to what's happening in the game and on screen, yada yada. And so I'll talk a lot to do all that, like I'm doing right now. And sometimes I'll loop quite a bit too, just to make my points clear, so that there's less misunderstandings. I know the streamers who do that too, and that's why they do it. Same reason I do it. So yeah. So this stream was only meant to be an hour, so we're going to wrap it up here. But let's finish seeing what the hell they have to say after that mission. This guy says, welcome back. You must have passed the test with flying colors. The chief called for you. Go give him the full report on your mission. Alright. So a lot of the same missions, but not all of them, that you do on the hero side, you do the, you know, on the dark side, you will do the other, you know, the other POV basically. So I think you would do that mission playing as, you know, controlling, commanding Lura, or whatever her name was, against Silpher basically. But then you win the fight if you're playing on the other side, obviously. And you'll get their side of the story of why they were there. I totally forgot this guy's name. I will rewind to check it out off stream. I'm not gonna bother right now, but yeah. He says, oh, LPA. Good work out there. You're pretty good. You're pretty good. Alright, we got Ocelot. So he's Ocelot now. I'll call him that now. I'm just kidding, but... We got Ocelot praising us. He says, you really performed out there. I guess you're a decent commander. Your team is really talented too. I'm more than a little relieved. We'll have a lot more work for you in the future, okay? Anyway, this next job is an emergency operation. Karen has all the details, so go ask her about it, okay? The receptionist named Karen. I need to head off to a government conference. Make me proud. This guy's the chief, but not necessarily the principal. The quest Haywire Palette has been added. He looks so much like the principal's character model, just modified, you know? Tyrell, I mean. Congratulations on your first victory, LPA! Long play archive. And she says, she realized she was gushing and being unprofessional for a second. Anyway, allow me to explain your next mission. We are currently building an intraplanetary high-speed network as part of our ongoing development of Regal. Are you setting up a network to be able to communicate with Coral or something? Just a few moments ago, the ARCs broke into the network and set a prototype pallet vehicle to run out of control. We've been given the job to stop it before it causes an accident. Could you put an end to their sabotage? We're counting on you. Character we haven't heard of or seen yet, not even in the intro, is Orland. We saw Break, which we saw in the prologue in episode 2, but... the prologue for this game in episode 2, but we haven't seen Orland. Wonder how that'll come into play later. I'll go back and reread the, not on stream, but off stream, I think I'll go back and reread the epilogue for the prologue. Confusing, I know. Just to see what the hell happened in the years leading up to this, because I know it said a lot of stuff there. Because obviously that stuff might be referenced, it's definitely going to be referenced during the story of this game. Yeah, I'll check that off stream later. Class registration complete. Initiating entry counter. They're just going straight into the next quest, the next mission. Haywire Palette, the one we just unlocked. This one will take place in Nebula, Montana. A government mission that concerns the high-speed transit net, the crown jewel of Regal's development. Oh, like a train system. I remember this. Yeah, it's you fight on a train that's moving. I remember. They're still not going to read the full description. They're just going to see it once they go. Okay, so yeah, I got confused. Here, in deck selection, I thought A and B team meant the two that are teaming up against the NPCs. No. I read it wrong because I didn't know how. And then once we saw the battle, things got into context and I was like, oh, I get it. A team is obviously the player, and then if you had a partner, that would be that slot right there where it says none. And then B team would be these two. Endu. And then there would be someone here, basically, if it was a 2-on-2, or there can actually be 2-on-1 battles, I remember now too. There are some times where you get, like, for the context of the story or the side quest you're doing, like you'll get like ambushed by two people and you'll have to fight off both of them at once. As far as I know. That is a thing that can happen, I think. Anyway, well, we're not going into this yet. We're going to stop here. So I'll just stop it here before we see like the description for the mission. Well, I guess I'll just read that much and then leave it there. But yeah. Unless they're gonna go into deck building. They're starting, right? Okay, yeah. Oh, not all of them get the little description, do they? Like the other one. Maybe it's just because it was a tutorial or something? Yeah, okay. Well, there's your cliffhanger. So yeah. That's all for me for now. As I said, I just wanted to keep it nice and short today because I started late and have to go to bed soon. For various reasons. But again, kind of a blessing in disguise because I'm already feeling really talked out. Because that's what happens, like I had just explained about when I introduce like a new game on my channel. I talk a lot about it to give it plenty of context before we really get going, you know? And then once we get going, I mean, it's pretty much just going to be me sitting here watching and occasionally probably making a fart joke or two, you know? So most of the talking when introducing a new game is, well, during the introduction at the beginning. So I'm all talked out. Tomorrow we should be able to get back to slightly longer streams, like 2 hours again, hopefully, but no guarantees. My goal is always 2 hours ideally, but if I can't, then I'll at least do 1 hour, unless it's one of my days off. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow we'll actually be able to get a couple hours in instead of today, like where it was just one, and we'll be able to get the ball rolling and, you know, make some more progress, start moving a little faster through this. But that was the introduction to episode 3, Card Revolution. So I realize too late now at this point. I don't have like a proper outro that I can do for when I do streams where I just watch a YouTube video like this. I don't think I don't really have much that I can. Do I have some music? No, not really. So I guess it's just gonna end in silence. Maybe I'll go find like a proper outro video or something for when I do watch throughs like this. I don't remember what I did the last time I did one of these. So I'll just leave it here, I guess. I'll find some YouTube playlist to play in the background next time when I do an intro and outro for these things. I don't know. But for now, I'll just leave it here. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate the support across Twitch and YouTube. Wherever you decide to watch or support, I appreciate it very much. As always, please take care of yourselves, look after each other, stay safe, don't die. And until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and good night. And I will see you all then. Peace. Whew.
Ooh.